Hello everyone, thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Max, and today I'm going to be doing my review for Loki Episode 5. So Loki Episode 5 has definitely surpassed all of the other Loki episodes for me just because it's brought something so different into the MCU. And I think the idea of it, even if the TVA is lying about exactly what it is really cool. So basically, this episode takes place for the majority of it in the end of time. And this is basically known as the TVA's dumping ground. We see some of their trash at one point in time, but what is mainly dumped here are the different timelines and variants, and they are consumed by Goliath, who is basically this kind of big cloud-like creature who can consume anything, and it causes destruction. So all the timelines and variants are sent here, and as we see, it can, wipe out an entire ship's worth of crew members in a matter of seconds. And at least from what we saw, it looks like Lokis are the best at surviving, or possibly the only people who can survive here. It's unknown whether Mobius would have lasted the entire time, but it seems like he was, doing pretty well on his own in the pizza car. But Lokis are definitely the prominent figure that we are focusing on, whether that's because of the show or that really is just kind of like the whole Loki survival thing. Who knows? But we focused on a bunch of different types of Lokis, and that was something I thought was really cool in this episode. We got to see classic Loki, we got to see Kid Loki, we got to see President Loki, and a bunch of other variants of Loki. And I think it was really cool to see how these different variants of Loki interacted with each other, and then when they were all fighting. It was really interesting to see Tom Hiddleston's Loki really just not getting into it, but all of these other Lokis seemed to, kind of still be stuck in that classic Loki mindset that we saw in the earlier portrayals of Loki in the Thor films and Avengers and things like that. So I think seeing the evolution of Loki just in that one scene, basically throughout his existence, was a really cool choice to make, because it gave us all versions of the characters, and we got to see how different versions of the characters, or where they are in their journey of being a Loki, got to play out. And we learned things from classic Loki, like he, realized he was causing destruction. He actually escaped from Thanos, similar to the same theory a lot of people had about how our, main timeline Loki could still be alive. So whether that actually happened in our timeline, who knows? But he was a variant, and when he started missing his brother, that's when he was captured. So I think they're really honing in on this emotional side of Loki, and they're doing it in different ways for a bunch of these different characters. For example, Kid Loki, he killed Thor, so we don't know exactly how he feels about that now, but it does seem like that was his Nexus event, and he is still he's like the ruler of the area, so I assume that he is very much that kind of evil version of Loki, at least in kid form. And if we get to see him again, I wonder if he'll maybe have some evolution, or if they're done in that certain area of the story. So at the end of the episode, the big thing that happened is classic Loki basically recreated Asgard and was able to distract Goliath, while Silvie and Loki were able to enchant it. And that was a really cool scene, not only for classic Loki, but I think, he had a big character arc there, but seeing our Loki, or at least the 2012, branched off version of Loki that we've been following, seeing him kind of realize, he can do more than cause destruction, I think was really cool. And in the series, we've seen him use more magic, but Silvie said that he could do it because they're the same, and just seeing him kind of believe in himself is something we haven't really seen from Loki, because he had always viewed himself, especially at that stage, as the kind of brother next to Thor, who never got to, be king, or was lied to about his past and all these things. So seeing him really hone in on who he is and use that to his advantage was a really great aspect to include in this series. And yes, at the end of the episode, we do see what looks like to be the big reveal of possibly who's running the TVA, or at least a big character coming into play. Now, I've seen a couple different guesses on this. The popular one is, of course, Kang the Conqueror, and a lot of things have lined up. I've seen in other breakdowns, people have mentioned similarities between the different areas and Goliath and things like that line up with Kang. I've also heard, mainly on the Real Rejects, but I've seen other people talking about this, that it could be King Loki running all of this. And I think that'd be really cool, but I don't think he's the person behind everything. I do think that King Loki, and I'll get to this more in my predictions video, but I do think King Loki that we see in the trailer is going to be either an illusion or Loki at the end of the series running the TVA. So yeah, we have all these things to see, and I think the episode really set us up in a good place to kind of get going with the story. Similar to how WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier have done, it really sets us up for the final episode. And I don't think we know the runtime of the final episode yet, but it'll be really interesting to see if it sticks with that 55-minute runtime that the finales have generally been doing, or if it'll go more or possibly less. But I think they'll do whatever makes the most sense with the story, and then of course we have to see if there's any end credit scenes and what those hint at for the future. So overall, I love this episode of Loki, and I'm super excited to see the finale and what it can give us. So that's about all I have for now. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you like it, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.